All right, hello there, everyone. I am John from Nickathan Gaming, and today I am coming at you from my vacation, which has not been too much of a vacation because I have been working on the game, which I am excited to tell you about. I've also been uh, cooking breakfast for the place I'm staying at and sweeping up and all that stuff, but still, amazing vacation. You can see the mountains behind me. Um, but that's not what this video is about. I am here to tell you about the AI that we are going forward with the game, which I will be putting into action as soon as I get back. So hopefully week 6, week 7 we'll have a finish to the intelligence for the game. I am also very happy to announce that I have designed a campaign for the game. So you do actually have campaign levels that you get to play through at the different difficulties, as well as the skirmish matches where you can play up to one versus or um, an 8-player game, whether it's 7 people on team 1 and 1 person on team 2, or you know everyone in a free for all, or whatever combination between those. So let's get started with the AI. There are going to be 5 difficulty levels, which I have called novice, casual, moderate, intense, and brutal. The big difference between those is what build order it follows. So I'm going to tell it what buildings it should build first, what buildings it should focus on, when it should build units, when it should unlock upgrades, when it should upgrade buildings, and so on and so forth. So, the novice level is pretty much just going to build buildings randomly. It's not going to care about any strategizing, and it's going to check what it should do once every 15 seconds. So it's like someone who's never played a video game before just going, click, click, okay, click, click. So, it's for those people who don't know how to play games. This should be the easiest one for them to fight against because it's not going to know what it's doing either. Now, with the novice, it's going to attack you when it has 2 times as many units as you do. Well, actually, no. It's just going to attack randomly. I like that better. So it's just going to be like, I feel like attacking. Let me go and attack. Even if it's going to lose horribly. But it can still be pretty annoying. Now, casual is 1 step up from novice. 1 step up. Casual is going to follow the start format that I've made, where it's going to build the town hall and the resource building, so your farm, lumber mill, and market. And then after that, it's going to build randomly. But at least it's going to have the resources to build randomly and do whatever it wants. So casual is still going to be quite a bit dumb, but it will at least ensure that it has the basic resources to do whatever it wants there. Now after and the casual, it's going to make a decision every 10 seconds. So it's 5 seconds faster. There is also going to be like a plus or minus 5-second delay on that. So it might make decisions in 10 seconds, might make it in 5 seconds, or it might make it in 15. And with the novice, it can be 15, 20, or 10. So there's going to be some oscillation there, just to keep things interesting. Now after casual, we have moderate. Moderate, intense, and brutal are the same, in which they will pick a strategy which they will follow, and I'll talk about the strategies in just a minute. Moderate is going to make decisions every 6 seconds with a 3-second range, so between 3 to 9 seconds randomly it's going to decide what to build, what units to build, what to upgrade, things like that. Intense is every 3 seconds it makes a decision, so it's going to be a bit faster. It will also be using a smarter strategy, and brutal will have a 0 second decision time. So every game frame, it's going to be checking what it can do to build and attack. So the brutal is going to be brutal. It's going to be making instant decisions, and it's going to be the hardest to win against. I'm not even sure if it can be won against, but I'm sure it can be. Another thing is when you build your library at Town Hall level 11, after you've built your blacksmith, you unlock spells from the library. Your spells will do things like heal your units over time. It will make your units invincible for a few seconds. It's going to boost the production of your resource buildings. And the last one is it gives them a battle fury, so they move and attack faster. Now, with the novice difficulty does not get to use any spells no matter how long the game has gone on. Casual does unlock spells, but the casual is just going to play spells as the cooldown wears off. So, second they unlock heal, even if all of their units are at full health, it heals. Once it's done cooling down, it heals again. It's not going to take any sort of intelligence into what it should be doing. Moderate, intense, and brutal, though, are going to be using each of the spells as it's best needed. So when multiple units are damaged and some of them are near death, then it casts heal. It's going to attack once it has these spells, once their units reach your wall, then it's going to cast the Battle Fury and boost their attack as they plow through your army and gates. So they're going to have a lot more intelligence behind when they cast their battle spells, which I've not shown you yet because those are yet to be fully integrated into the game. Now, the strategies. There are 3 strategies for the game. There's the Blitz strategy, defensive strategy, and adaptive strategy that the AI are going to follow. In the Blitz strategy, it builds the town hall, it builds a barracks or archery, and then it builds a house. Now, you still have plenty of money after that because it's meant to be going into your farm, lumber mill, and market, but now you're just putting it into the barracks and a house. So it's going to start spawning units instantly, really a few seconds after the game has started. And it's going to send those units to attack right away. Blitz is going to be the hardest strategy to last against and make it to the long game, but it's going to be the easiest strategy to win against in a long game because they've wasted all of their resources building units when they should have been spending their resources building up their base. But if those units do make it to your base and they do start attacking your base before you get anything defensive down, they will win. But if you can detect when you're playing a blitz game, you can train your king and you can train a few archers, then you're golden, you're going to coast through. Now that's the blitz for the moderate level. Now after they build the town hall, barracks or archery, house, and their first unit, then they make the farm lumber market, and then they're going to focus on upgrading the town hall, building houses, upgrading houses, and building as many units as they can and sending them at you in short bursts of 5 to 15 units, and they are going to cripple your ability to build buildings and do anything to defend against them. Blitz number 2 for the intense game, they build the town hall, farm, lumber, mill, market, then they build the barracks or archery, then they build the house. So now they've got the resources to back up their attack, but because of this, their attack will be slightly delayed. And so you do have a bit of a benefit there where it's not an instant blitz, but it's still going to come on much faster than you would like, with the attacks just coming at you in waves, just constant attacks that you have to fight against. I did really like the blitz because it seems terrifying to me. I would not like to fight against a player that's using the blitz strategy. Now, the brutal, the people that make those instant decisions, they have a third blitz strategy where they start off, they build the town hall, farm, lumber mill, market, then they build the barracks or archery and house, then they upgrade their town hall and their houses up to level 6, and they go further by starting to build their stables, their mage tower. When they get to level 11, they'll build their beast lair, they'll build their temple. With the intense level, it's going to take them a very long time before they can build their stables, mage tower, beast lair, temple, library, blacksmith, things like that. So Blitz 3 for the brutal gets to those higher level buildings much faster because their intelligence will tell them that's what they should do. Now, after the blitz, they go into defensive strategy. The defensive is the next strategy that they can randomly pick between, and that is pretty much just start, they build the walls first, then their farm, market, lumber mill times 2, then they start upgrading their town hall, their resources, and their walls, and they are focusing on building defensive towers. So they are going to be the first people in the game to have defensive tower level 3, which is just going to tear everything but the late game units to pieces. And it's going to be very hard to get in any attacks on these people because they are also going to be building archeries and catapults and ballista and hiding them behind their walls, and they will just pick your army to pieces before you can even damage their structures. And once you have wasted all of your units attacking and they have built to the maximum, they are going to come at you in one terrifying, unstoppable wave and just plow through you all at once, instead of the blitz, which does it in moderation. Okay, so that would be the defensive strategy 1. Now, when we get into the intense level, they do the defensive tower, defensive level 2, where they start focusing more on the archeries and training archers instead of upgrading their walls once they get that initial tower. So they're focusing on unit defense instead of just walled defense in the defensive 2. And defensive 3, they're going to be building more mounted archers. So they build their stables and their archery, and they build mounted archers, and when you're not attacking them, they're going to be sending their mounted archers to blitz your base. And they're just going to do kind of guerrilla tactics of attacking and retreating. And yeah, all of the defenses are going to be focusing on resources, upgrading their units, upgrading their walls, and less on building units and things like that. Now, the last strategy is the adaptive strategy. So they're going to be building their town hall, farm, lumber mill, market times 2 right at the beginning. Then they're going to be focusing on upgrading their resources, and they're going to be watching what you as a player build and counter it. So as you start building units, they build their walls, they build their own units. If you're not building any units, then they will not build the wall, they will then build units themselves. So they kind of oscillate between the blitz strategy and the defensive strategy, making it a bit tougher. And they're going to be following this little idea here, where if the player they are playing against has no towers, no defensive towers, then they will start attacking you. Now, they're going to go just long enough to start attacking your buildings. When you put up the slightest resistance, then they retreat to the base, making sure their units aren't attacked. But if they ever have 1.5 times more units than you do, then they press the attack and just flatten your base. And I've also, so those are the strategies and the difficulty levels. The next thing is instead of counting the units as each unit is one unit, it's going to be giving a value to the units based on how strong that unit is and what upgrades it has unlocked. So the clubman, who's the most basic unit of the game, he only gives you 1 point in your units. The soldier gives you 2, spearman 3, officer 4, archer 2, crossbowman 3, king 3, mage 3, ram 3, catapult 4, ballista 5, priest 4, templar 5, and then you have the beasts like your minotaur and your dragons, which are going to be like 7, 10, stuff like that, because they're going to be worth 10 units. Now, next side, I'm talking about a few different build rules. So I was also writing down when you can repair your houses. So the AI will not build houses if they do not have a barracks, archery, blacksmith, things like that. If they can't build units, they're not going to build houses because there's no need for the houses. But the second they do build those, then they're going to start building houses. They also won't build or upgrade houses unless they've reached their cap plus 5, or cap minus 5. So if they have 5 houses and no units, they're going to stop building houses. If you've got 6 units and 7 houses, they're going to build another 3 houses, like that. Let's see, what else did I do? Yeah, I talked about when they're going to barricade, when they're going to send their attacks. I've just got some notes on how exactly I want to do that. How it's going to open the gate and how it's going to notice when their units are defending inside of their base, defending outside the base to protect the walls, because once one of your buildings takes damage, you are not allowed to build for 30 seconds after that damage finishes. I also wrote some strategies behind how they're going to work in cooperative modes when you have 2 AI on the same team or an AI on a team with you. So pretty much they will go and defend your base, but the blitz will actually see, oh hey, you're being attacked. While you're being attacked, I'm going to go and attack their base and finish their town hall before they can do any damage to you. And it's going to be basing attack possibilities off of how much strength the enemy team has. Yep, and then with repairing your buildings, when your building is damaged and needs to be repaired, you cannot unlock upgrades, you cannot upgrade the building, you must repair it first, but you can still train units, which you can also do while upgrading and unlocking units. Now, next page. I've got many pages to go through today. I talked about the different training speeds and the costs that I want for the upgrades, because you may notice from the videos that the upgrades do not have any cost to them and they're using a base training speed. So I've got notes right here which you don't really need to see, but it just details the costs of every upgrade and how long every upgrade is going to take. Then I was talking about the main menu and what I want that to look like. I was thinking of having, 2 armies side by side in the middle of a battle, maybe a castle in the background as the main menu. I'm a bit iffy on how I'm going to do the art for that. Maybe I'll have to commission it. And Then I got into the idea of I should add a campaign to this and how I want to save and load games. So there will be a save feature in your game. So at any point in your game, you can save the game to a new file that's going to be saved on your local disk. I don't think I'll put any encryptions on the JSON file, so if you're savvy enough to get into your game files, you know what? Just go ahead and start changing values. Give your king 10 million health. I don't care. If you can go that far, then by all means do it. Have fun with it. Um, Now, you'll have the option between campaign, skirmish, load game, and go into the options to change some base settings and see more about the creator, donate to me, stuff like that. Um, Now, the campaign is going to be more of a storyline, and I'm going to start talking about the campaign now. So pretty much the campaign premise is a cataclysm is coming to the divided kingdoms, and you need to stop the Dark Kingdom from fulfilling their plans of bringing this cataclysm about. And throughout this, you're going to be fighting some monsters that you don't get to use in skirmish, and you're going to be fighting against dragons and other AI players. Now, I've got this map here with my amazing artwork, and pretty much you start off here with an officer. You go over here, you get 3 clubmen. You go over here, this is a barracks that's being attacked by 3 monsters, and they've got 2 dragon eggs that are about to hatch. You have to defeat the monsters and the dragon eggs and save the barracks, or you unlock swordsmen. Then you can go down path A or path B. Path A gives you houses so you can build more soldiers. Path B gives you an archery so you can start to build archers. Then you go over here and a 5-minute timer starts. You get a town hall for the very first time where you get to start building your base freely. You're limited though, you can only upgrade the town hall to level 5, so you don't get too many upgrades available. You're very limited in the beginning of the campaign. You can also build a wall with defensive towers, and in 5 minutes a large monster army comes flooding out this way, and if they destroy your town hall or your officer, then you lose. Now, level 2 is you've just been attacked by a horde of monsters. You need to find out why they're going berserk. So you decide you're going to head towards the head temple. The head temple knows all about monster attacks. They might know the cause behind these berserk monsters. And it's a much smaller map this time. It's right here, this little sketch. You can see the mountains. This is where you start. You can either go around the mountain to this base, you can go in the middle to this base, or over here to this base. Let's see what notes I have. So when you destroy this base, you unlock stables and you can start to build mounted units. When you destroy this base, you unlock the catapult from your blacksmith and you can start to build catapult units. And when you destroy this base number 3, you don't get anything but that. Oh, you get mages. They have mages in this one. And in this level 2, you're starting to fight the Red Army. And the Red Army is just a scattered group of clans. So they don't work together, they even fight each other when they see each other. But yeah, you need to take them out one at a time. Then, level 3, you're still heading through the Redlands, trying to get to the main temple. You're at the end of the Redlands in level 3. You're almost to the temple. You just need to push through the red main base. Unfortunately, As you reach the last bastion of the red lands, you notice that in base 4 and 3, they actually have Minotaur in their base. In base 5, which is going to be the biggest and most well guarded, they will have 3 sets of wall towers. They are going to have Minotaur and a dragon defending their base. Now, they don't get to make any more of them. You don't know where they got these monsters from, but you know they have them. Now, you need to go through and defeat all 5 of these bases to win the level. Once all 5 of the town halls are destroyed, then you win. And you find out that the Red Army, the Red Clans, cherish strength above all else. And now that you've shown that you can destroy even the mighty dragon and Minotaur, that you are worthy of their respect more than the Black Army or the Dark Army. Now, the Dark Army is the one who has been going about taming monsters, and they lent those monsters out to the Red Army to gain their approval. Unfortunately, they gave them the weaker versions, so they realized that they were being duped. And they decide to help you out, but they don't come back into the game until much later when they're fully betrayed by the Dark Army. So now you've passed the red lands and you're going into the dark lands, which you need to pass through to get to the main temple. The temple is on the outskirts of the north part of the dark lands. And you end up in this map. This is where you start off. This is your main base, and they've got these 5 small little dark outposts, as well as this main camp for the Dark Army. And then down here is the temple. You need to head towards the temple. This is not the head temple, I think. No, this is the head temple. Okay, so yeah, you're now at the head temple at the outskirts of the Darklands. You need to defeat all 5 of these bases and their main base before they can destroy the temple. So if the temple is destroyed, if your officer is destroyed, or if your town hall is destroyed. Oh, actually, sorry. At the end of this, when you defeat base number 5, you unlock a priest. The priest will tell you that the main temple is under attack and tell you where the Red Army got their monsters. So yeah, back to 5. Alright, so back to 5. When you destroy the main base and save the temple, then the Templars start to join you and you unlock the Templar units. And you hear that they had the prophecy, but in the siege they lost the prophecy. The prophecy was destroyed. And you need to go to the Yellow Scholars, where they have the main library, and search the main library for the ancient prophecy and find out what exactly is causing the catastrophe, what's causing the monsters going berserk. You hear that the prophecy talked about monsters going berserk before a great cataclysm, but you don't have details on what causes it, how to stop it, and you need to go to the main library. Now, in this one, you head into the Yellow Lands, which is off to the east of the Black Lands that you're on the edge of, on the outskirts of. And you arrive here, and you see that there are 3 libraries, 3 small library towns, as well as a Grand Dragon. And the Grand Dragon is sending monsters, minotaurs, and dragons out to attack these bases. You'll also find 3 minotaur being attacked by the Dark Army. And if you defeat the Dark Army, then you get these minotaur to join your team. So you can actually get minotaur on your team at this level, but they only follow for this part. Now, after you save the libraries, then you end up unlocking your library and learning spells 1 and 2, so heal and resource boost. Now, this is where the end of the big notes come about, but the storyline still continues, which I want to go over. So, you are finally arriving at the main library where the prophecy is held. You start here, you go into the main library, you take over the main library base. They have 2 sets of defensive walls, but over here is the Dark Army's base, and over here is the Grand Dragon that just escaped from the previous map. So, your old friend is back. Over 25 minutes, every 5 minutes, the dragon is going to send a wave of monsters to attack your base, also a small wave to attack the dark base. And the dark base is going to send a small wave over here, and they're going to send a wave to attack the main base. If you destroy the dark base, they come back in 5 minutes, start rebuilding their town and attacking again. And when you fend off 5 waves, the Dark Army is going to send all of their troops to attack the dragon. If you can stop all of the Dark Army troops, then you win and the dragon will help you out later on in the game. If not, then they will capture the Grand Dragon and they will use it against you later in the game. So, that's the end of those notes. We talked about strategies, but we haven't finished talking about the campaign, which I am excited about. So, now, you save the Grand Library, you learn about the prophecy, you learn that when someone tries to forcefully control the monsters, then they bring about the cataclysm, which is a massive world-eating dragon that is asleep in your continent. And the only way to stop it is to stop the subjugation of the monsters early enough. So you find out that the Dark Army is subjugating monsters, which is causing the cataclysm to awaken. They aren't quite aware, or they don't care about that, and you need to do something to stop it. Now, the Grand Dragons are like the heralds of the apocalypse, the emissaries of the great apocalypse dragon. And you find out that not only is the Black Army subjugating minor dragons and Minotaur, but they're also subjugating the emissaries of the apocalypse as well, which is just speeding up the awakening of the apocalypse. So level 8 is going to be a grand army. You, the red army from before that you showed your superior strength to, and the yellow scholars team together to make one team army. They get to control their own separate bases. And you're fighting against the dark army, the orange army, and the purple army. There are also going to be the green army and the dark blue army at that point, but they're not connected to any of the other armies, and you can get them to help you by paying tribute, or you can destroy their base before the dark army gets them to join against you. So it can either be 5-on-3 in your favor, or 5-on-3 against you. Or it can just be 3-on-3 with you destroying the other 2 on the side. Now you can send tributes of 10,000 of each resource to them to get them to join you, just like you could with the red army. Oh, and the black army will have a grand dragon that they're going to be using against you. Now that you've fought that huge battle on the fields, you're finally taking the battle with the red and yellow army. If they survived, if their town hall wasn't destroyed, then they join you in this fight. and you go and attack the Dark Army's capital, there, which is going to be like a 3-tier defensive base, kind of like the Battle of Minas Tirith in Lord of the Rings: The Battle for Middle-earth. And yeah, they are now training and spawning grand dragons, minor dragons, minotaur, all of the units. They're using spells on you because they captured some of the libraries, and you're pretty much fighting a huge battle against someone with a terrible amount of resources, and you need to do your best to go through the 3 levels of the city, destroying the entire the Dark Capital. Now, after you destroy the Dark Capital, as you're fighting the Dark Capital, they will also have that one Grand Dragon as their defender, which is going to come out and attack you right away if you did not stop them back in like level 6 or so. If you did stop them, then it's going to join you in this battle, and after like 7.5 minutes is going to come in and attack the base for you and not attack your units. You don't get to control it, but it's going to help out quite a lot. Now, level 10 is the last level of the campaign. You were not able to stop the Dark Army fast enough. The Cataclysm Dragon has awakened, but it has not yet fully awakened to its ancient and awesome powers. You must stop him before he gets to full strength. You have 30 minutes to defeat him before he becomes invincible, goes on a rampage, and wipes out your base. He will also be roaming around the map, not fully going at your base, but he is going to be dropping dragon eggs, which spawn into dragons after a few times. He's going to be spawning minor dragons, grand dragons, calling minotaur and other beasts from the forests, and those are all going to be attacking your base while you are going to be attacking him. He will also be spawning these special shield dragons, which, as long as they are alive, they make the Cataclysm Dragon invincible. So you have to go and find those at a few separate bases around the map and make sure they are not alive so you can attack the Cataclysm Dragon. He is also powerful enough to just about one-hit any unit that he comes across. So you have to swarm him with numbers. But that doesn't work if you've got one of the shield dragons alive. And once you put the Cataclysm Dragon back to sleep, you drain his powers away before he can fully awaken. That's the end of the campaign. I'm considering a second campaign where you play as the monsters and you're fighting against the Dark Army. I've still not put any thought into that yet, but let me know what you thought of the campaign. If you still remember from the beginning of the video, you know, when we talked about the 3 strategies that the AI is going to be following, the blitz, defensive, and adaptive, you know, let me know what you think of those. And yeah, thanks for watching and have an amazing day.